Q Cares, a public service of Q1067. Q Cares is pre-recorded and puts a spotlight on issues and challenges in our community, along with the agencies and groups that work to make Greater Lafayette a better place.
And a good Sunday morning to you. My name is Dan McKay, the host of Q Cares, and my guests today are Mark Thompson and Shane Thomas. Guys, good to have you here.
Good morning, Dan.
All right. The reason we're here is you guys are veterans, and you're involved with veterans affairs after the fact, after people have done their time and all that. So first we're going to talk to you about Honor Flight, and then Shane, we're going to talk to you about breakfasts that are on a regular basis where veterans can get together and just rub shoulders and kind of talk about things that are going on. Mark, let's talk about the Honor Flight. Is it in season? Is it certain times of the year? How does that work?
Dan, it's always Honor Flight season. Doesn't matter, year-round. We're very fortunate here in Indiana. We've got 4 hubs, and when I say hubs, across the United States there's 134 hubs, primarily in larger communities. But we're lucky here in Indiana. We've got a hub in Indianapolis, one in Evansville, one in Fort Wayne, and right here at Lafayette at Purdue.
In a nutshell, what is Honor Flight?
Honor Flight is an opportunity to give World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and my generation, Vietnam veterans, particularly with us, it's a way to say thanks and welcome home.
Okay, so what do they get? Let's talk about that.
They get a trip to Washington, D.C., and it's a whirlwind trip. We leave at 6 in the morning, and we're back by 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. that evening. All
right, so you fly in what kind of an aircraft?
We fly in a real plane, an honest-to-goodness, full passenger airplane. And we leave at Purdue, and in our case, we land right at Reagan Airport, off onto 4 different buses, make a tour of the World War II memorials and several different memorials in Washington, and then back on the plane and head right back to Purdue University.
So when a service person goes on Honor Flight, when they come back, are they just filled with emotions and tickled?
Dan, I came home from the service in 1971. I was bitter, not because of what happened to me in Vietnam, but the way we were treated, as soldiers at Fort Lewis, Washington.
By
the U.S. Army.
Okay.
We were treated poorly by the airlines, and then re-entry into the community, we were treated real bad. Back in my day, when we came home from the military, we had short cropped hair. Most men had long hair, shoulder length, and we stood out in the crowd, and people either thought, A, we came home from the service, or B, we got out of prison. One or the other.
I think I remember those days, too.
Yes.
Didn't they used to call, like, jarheads and things like that?
Yep.
Very good. So, do you think the Honor Flight helps with the psyche of some of these veterans?
Oh, absolutely. I was bitter. I was bitter for 40 years. I came home, packed stuff up, both physically and mentally, and nobody knew I'd been in Vietnam other than family, and very few people knew I'd even been in the service.
Wow.
It wasn't until 2012 when I had the opportunity to take my father-in-law, a World War II vet, on the Honor Flight, that somebody came up to me and said, "Were you in the service?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, were you in Vietnam?" "Yeah." "Well, you know, it's okay to tell people that." And it took that long.
Wow.
And it turned my life around.
Very good. Is that kind of in your own mind behavior similar for other people as well?
My generation,
okay.
No question about it. We were of the generation where you had a choice: go to school, get drafted, in some cases, go to prison. So
wow.
You joined the military. The draft was very prevalent. Had no choice, particularly with going to Vietnam. It wasn't like, do you want to? You will go.
So did Muhammad Ali ever serve any time for...
No.
No, nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing. So that's bitter too, isn't it?
Well, it's just part of it, part of the political system, if you will.
Wow. How does somebody get involved, or maybe somebody's grandson, child, wants to have their parent or relative have the experience that you had?
You can get online on honorflight.org, or just type in the word Honor Flight, and it'll list you to any community that has a hub, or you can get online and go Honor Flight of Greater Lafayette. There's also a Facebook site called Honor Flight of Greater Lafayette. There's a Facebook site called Tippecanoe County Veterans Muster, and we can direct you to that site. And if you're a veteran, World War II veteran, Korean War veteran, or of the Vietnam era, ending in 1975, we can see that you'd get on that flight.
And I've been out filming and interviewing, and I've seen you out there in the community.
Yes, sir.
I happen to know you. I'm a good friend of your brother's.
Right.
And you have golf tournaments, and you're always working on stuff. Is it to help fund this?
Absolutely. That's probably one of the biggest unknown things. People say, well, what part of the government funds an honor flight?
None.
And there is none.
That's
zero.
sad.
It's all mom and dad, private donations, corporate donations, community involvement.
Because whenever there's something going on, raising some money somewhere or some organized thing, you're there.
It's an expensive proposition. People don't realize how expensive it is to rent an airplane for the day, plus rent 4 buses, plus feed, plus have the volunteer staff in order to pull an event like this off.
All right.
We take 80 to 84 veterans every flight.
All right. We don't have a ton of time today, but I want to have you back. I want to talk about this.
We can do that.
You know, if we can help other veterans, or at least, just...
Well, don't shut me up yet. Our next flight, unfortunately, will be in the fall of 2025.
Oh, my.
Typically, we do it in the spring, but because of the expansion at Purdue University and with the terminal situation, Purdue would prefer that they not have a mass crowd come in for certainly the lead off to the honor flight and then the return for the honor flight. So we pushed it back till the fall.
So if somebody wants to get involved or find out more, is there a number? You mentioned it, the Facebook site and things like that. Tell us again how we can reach out.
They can reach out. They can call me personally, 765-413-0145. And I'd be glad to talk to anybody or whomever about the honor flight.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to have you back again sometime.
I'll be back.
And talk about that.
Great.
And our other guest is Shane Thomas. And it's so interesting because I know Shane as well. I'm glad that I know veterans, actually. So, Shane, I had the privilege. You invited me to one of those veterans breakfasts. Let's talk about that. When is it? What's it for? What do you get out of it? And why should others participate?
Well, it's at 9 o'clock every Thursday morning. Be there at 8:30 if you want a good seat. It's really growing.
And Joe's Pancake House.
At Joe's Pancake House, 11 Earl Avenue.
Yeah, in that
here in
little strip
Lafayette.
there. Yeah, where Four Guns used to be, right?
Well, we're about 3 doors down from Four Guns.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So, when I was there was a pretty good clip of people there.
Yeah, like today we had 32 people.
32.
There's always new people coming. Veterans need veterans. I mean, people get our age, they sit at home, they do nothing.
Yeah.
They come there and they can talk about their experiences. Most likely, if you got a soldier that probably having problems with what he'd done in the service, there's going to be somebody there to talk to.
That will understand.
Yeah.
Very good. How long has that been going on?
They started before I was there, and I've been doing it for about 2 years now.
It's grown over the years.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, when I visited, there were men and lots of women that have done their service time, or wives, or both, or it just seemed like it was good. It was good for them to go.
It was. It's good to get it out. It's good to talk.
Yeah, people were singing. They did some skits. They were having a good time.
Yeah. They're very supportive of the military, the veterans.
Okay. And you both of you, but talking to you for a moment right now, you're all about that, and that's really important to you.
Yeah, I served from 77 to 95.
My God.
We've been friends for 30 years, and you've done a couple reunions for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just like hanging out with veterans.
That's great. That's fantastic. I'm sure that goes with all different things, whether you're a Freemason or a veteran, you have a fraternity of people that you can sound off with and aren't going to be uncomfortable by it.
Like I said, I told you once before, I want to talk about the Mary P. Klinkert Foundation. They just got the National Guard Armory in Boswell, Indiana. And they're using veterans to fix that up. You've probably seen them on TV. They've had a couple Harley-Davidson rides. It's going to be a place for homeless veterans, only for veterans.
Oh, my Lord.
So that's really a good asset.
How many beds are they going to have? Do you know?
I think there's going to be like 28.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think veterans and and homeless. This is my personal opinion, that they should pay a little more attention
And
to
once
it.
people get on their feet, we can rotate people and get people in. Get
That's
people
great.
out.
So the whole idea is not for them to just live there permanently. It's to give them the skill set that they might need or they forgot about or just aren't brushed
Right.
up on, right?
Right.
That's beautiful. That's great. Anything else that you'd like to share, Shane?
Yeah, my website is Veterans Breakfast Lafayette on Facebook.
This has been another edition of Q Cares. If you or your organization would like to be part of Q Cares, email jim.stone@wolfboom.com. Q Cares is a public service of Lafayette's hometown station, Q1067. Q Cares is pre-recorded. This is Q Cares, a public service of Q1067. Q Cares is pre-recorded and puts a spotlight on issues and challenges in our community, along with the agencies and groups that work to make Greater Lafayette a better place.
And a good Sunday morning to you. My name is Dan McKay, and this is Q Cares. Our guest today is Bryan Arbic. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Fine. So you were with the U.S. Army. You still are, basically, aren't you?
Well, I'm retired from the United States Army. I did 22 years active duty and retired as a Master Sergeant in E8.
You were Master Sergeant?
I was.
Wow. So what did that entail?
A whole lot of drinking coffee, carrying a clipboard, and telling people what to do.
That seems to be the job that everybody wants.
Absolutely. Good place to retire from.
Absolutely. So what are you involved with now? What's your directive?
So my current job is the Assistant Director of the Dorothy Stratton Veteran and Military Success Center at Purdue University. And so what I do is I help run the center. So we have a student center for our military-connected students at Purdue. And specifically, I run a program called our Education to Occupation program. It's a series of programs, workshops, and events that help our students transition from camouflage to campus and then from campus to career. So we're really trying to enable and empower their success through their educational journey and on to the next chapter of their lives.
Okay, so here's a question for you. How many Purdue students are involved in that?
Last year, we had 2,089 students that
Wow.
were military benefit using students. This year, the numbers aren't in yet. We're still working through all the certifications, but I wouldn't bat an eyelash if somebody told me we were going to hit about 2,500 this year.
Really? And what do you think the reason is that they want to get involved in 2024?
I mean, Purdue's got that reputation of just a stellar education. I mean, there's people out there that don't know the Big Ten, don't know the school, and so when I say Purdue, they're like, oh, that's an Ivy League school. No, but it has that reputation for excellence in education. All the astronauts that Purdue has produced, all of the engineers that it's produced, all of these people that have gone on to do great things for God and country, and they just want to come there and get that kind of an education.
So what is it that you folks do for them? I know we talk camouflage to campus.
Sure.
So what actually is going on there?
So at our base level, at our foundation, we're the office that certifies their benefits to the VA.
Okay.
So they're using military education benefits or federal education benefits to pay for their school. And so we're the office that certifies them and gets the VA to cut a check to Purdue University to pay for their bills. We certify 5 chapters of the GI Bill. We certify federal tuition assistance. And we do some other services to help those military-connected students out. So we serve veterans, true veterans who are post-military, pursuing their education after service. We serve currently serving military, so National Guard and reservists, some active duty who are getting their education concurrent to their service. And by far our largest population are actually our military family members. So these are children and spouses of the military who are using transferred benefits. So 2007 or so, the government made the GI Bill a transferable benefit, and we're seeing a huge explosion in population in that demographic of using mom or dad's benefit to pay for the education, which is a fantastic benefit for the service member to know that through my service I can make sure my child's education is paid for. So that's who we serve. So we certify all those benefits at a base level. We operate a center. So we have a space inside the Purdue Memorial Union that is theirs. We have desks and chairs and workstations, free printing, free coffee. We stock it with food, so they got places to eat.
Fantastic.
Refrigerator, microwave, because a lot of our students are off campus, and so they'll drive into campus and they use us as kind of that landing pad. Drop off their lunch, go to class, come back, eat in the center, hang out, talk to their friends, go back to class, and then head home for the day.
Are they doing this because they get something out of it? Are they doing this because their family was involved, or they just plain feeling cool about the military?
I think everybody has their own reason. I think some of the folks use our office because it's really the only place on campus that is theirs as a connection to the military. Every one of the staff members at our office has a military connection, so we speak the language, we get it. You know, we can have those shared experiences that give us a little bit of credibility in helping them in their journey. We're advocates on campus, so we host a workshop we call the Green Zone, where we teach staff and faculty about the military-connected students and their experiences so that they can better serve those students in whatever their role is on campus. And so I think that resonates with those students that know that they have an ally and an advocate on campus, somebody there that's there for them. And it gives them community. For the veterans, they get to be around other veterans. For the military children, they get to be around people that are also military children, military brats, moving around the world with moms and dads in different duty stations. And so having that commonality, being non-traditional students, this is a place where they get it. They're with people that have been through what they've been through, and that's a powerful thing.
So maybe it's the front end of really a fraternity for them, isn't it?
Kind of. We're also the mentor group for the student organization, Purdue Student Veterans Organization, which is a military-connected student club. And so they get together and they have meetings, and they've got a Grand Prix cart that they race every year in Purdue Grand Prix. And they do community outreach where they volunteer services in the community, and they do things together, go on runs and that's another opportunity for them to have almost a fraternity, a club.
Yeah. Do you need the public to help you in any way? There's volunteers or what have you, or financial support? What do you need from us, the community?
A big support for us is financial support, donations. A lot of our programs and services are not are funded through donation. We couldn't do them without the public support. So we do things like military student orientation, where we're going to have our new students come in. We're going to introduce them to essential offices on campus that can be allies to them in their journey, so that they know a face. I know somebody in this office, and so I'm more likely to be able to reach out to them and get the help I need. And we're going to sponsor that with a meal. We're going to host it in the Purdue Memorial Union. We're going to pay for food, and to pay for that meal, we need donation dollars. So we get money every year during Purdue Day of Giving, which is fantastic.
Sure.
It's alumni, it's family members, it's different people who care about our organization, help us fund. We get support from companies and organizations that will sponsor events for us. They'll come and participate in it and pay money to help us afford those services. How
does the public help you? Somebody out there, let's say, has a sweet spot for that. How do they get in touch with you? What's the protocol?
So on our webpage, purdue.edu/veterans, there's a link on it that says donate, and you can click on that link, and it'll take you through Purdue's donation webpage, where you can select our office as the place you'd like to donate funds. You can put in as little or as much as you want, and click the button, and it shows up on our gift account, and that gift account's how we use to pay for all those services, all the food that we put in our center.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a town called Brighton, Michigan, just north of Ann Arbor, and joined the military from there, served, like I said, 22 years. Came here to Purdue as an ROTC instructor while I was still active duty. This was as close to home as I could get. Everywhere else I'd been was west of the Mississippi. And this is where I wanted to be, so I could get my kids and my parents kind of in the same time zone, to let them kind of get to know each other a little bit. And we fell in love with the community. We fell in love with the state.
Yeah.
My wife's a teacher here. My kids got into schools and sports and those kinds of things. And so,
where does she teach at?
She teaches at Woodland Elementary, part of the TSC school district. And just, she loves it. Of all the places that she's taught, and I dragged her all over the place, and she kept having to be a teacher in Colorado and Texas and Hawaii and all these different duty stations. She said her time here at this school has been her favorite. She likes this building. She likes the team. She likes the administration. She really appreciates the group that she works with.
Yeah, it is a nice community.
It is. We found out about the benefits that the state provides for us. I'm a Purple Heart recipient, and so as an Indiana resident now and a Purple Heart recipient, the state supports my children's education.
Awesome.
Those kinds of things made our decision, like once we were here and saw what a community this is, like this is it. This is where we stay. We didn't know where we were going to go when we retired.
Cool.
But Lafayette and West Lafayette definitely helped us make that decision. So we put down roots, and here we are.
All right. Hey, Bryan Arbic, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing what you do, and when it comes to veterans or folks that might be veterans in the future, it's really pretty important.
It is. One of the things I heard a lot during my service was so many veterans get out and don't use their earned education benefits. And that always bothered me, that they'd served in the military, they'd earned the benefits, and then just let them go to waste. And so being in the office that helps them utilize those benefits and helps them maximize the rewards of their service is a very fulfilling thing for me. And it's nice to see that so many people are able to leverage those benefits to change their lives.
All right. Again, pleasure meeting you and talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
This has been another edition of Q Cares. If you or your organization would like to be part of Q Cares, email jim.stone@wolfboom.com. Q Cares is a public service of Lafayette's hometown station, Q 1067. Q Cares is pre-recorded